Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of my F123 MyTeam career mode. This is part 19 of the series, and if you did miss the last episode around China, Lando Norris claimed victory and ourselves had a very good battle with Nico Hülkenberg all the way to the end to claim our first points, and unfortunately was brake checked by Oscar Piastri, so another McLaren brake check once again. As we now take a look at the performance chart, McLaren is still at the top of the performance as well as us. We've actually made some progress. So we are now the third slowest team. We have jumped Sauber in the standings for that one as we now make our way to practice, and it's going to be a very wet practice session indeed. So if you remember the last time out here in Miami, it was quite wet as well, which unfortunately ended with ourselves DNFing, and that was our first major crash for the season. As we now jump to the end of our first practice program, which was the race strategy program, and you can see there on lap 1 we were actually a bit too slow, so we just had to get a lap under our belt to get used to the conditions and find some pace. But we'll set a purple time there, which will put us P4 as it stands at the moment, and now jumping towards the end of our tyre wear strategy. It looks like that we've actually got pretty good tyre wear at the moment, and our times are actually pretty good there. You can see 1.3 seconds as we do get a little bit of a snap going through the last corner, so the grip in these wet conditions, even on the full wets, is proving to be a bit difficult. And here for our tyre wear, we're going to go once again, just so that we can try and get ourselves into this purple section. The green was good, but we're trying to aim for purple in all of these programs, so we do manage to get a purple program in the end. So very good to see that our tyre wears shouldn't be an issue, especially if it's going to be wet later on into this the weekend, as we now head to our final practice program of this session, and for all of the practice really. It looks like at the moment it's going to be green. It's not going to be quite enough to get purple in the end, as we get a very big snap going through the last corner. It was very good for us to save it and not throw it into the wall in the end. That would have definitely hampered our practice progress for the weekend. As we now jump forward another lap, hopefully this time around we can actually claim purple. We need a score of 495, and we just don't get it, even though it does say that we got purple apparently. But as we now jump to the session results, Sergio Perez, Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton make up your top 3 in practice 1 at the moment. But you'll have to scroll down a little bit, because it looks like later on into the session where we didn't actually do any laps, it got to an intermediate tyre point, so we find ourselves P21 in the end, with the only driver behind us, Nick DeVries, who didn't set a time according to that. So very interesting, and wondering whether if Nick had an issue at the very start of the session which hampered his progress. So very unfortunate for the Dutch driver indeed, going further into this weekend. As we now jump to qualifying, Lando Norris sets the pace very early on, and for ourselves, we're currently in P10, about to set our first lap to find ourselves whereabouts. It puts us P9, so we're actually behind the 2 Williams as well. So our dry times at the moment are not looking good. Remember, these are also going to be our first dry lap, so we actually hit the wall on the exit of turn 17, that is. So I wonder if that's going to hamper us to the line, and we stayed P19, so we are really struggling at the moment. So we're going to have to be going out for some more laps on fresher tyres to try and get ourselves out into Q2. As it stands, we're P22, we're dead last, so definitely do not want to be that far down. We prop ourselves up into P12. There's actually yellow flags ahead of us, because everyone's trying to find their own bit of space. We have to move away outside of the path of Nico Hülkenberg, so we should probably put that forwards to the stewards for some impeding, because we shouldn't be having to drive around people on our fast flying laps, as we now go P8. So hopefully that is just enough, and we kind of give Hülkenberg a little bit of a squeeze there to show our frustrations with him, as Carlos Sainz, Oscar Piastri and George Russell are the top 3 fastest in Q1, as unfortunately once again Albon is knocked out and finishes P17. So P17's really been where he can qualify at the moment, so hoping that he can improve himself further on into the season, as Ocon sets the fastest lap of the session so far, and Lewis Hamilton's actually out of qualifying. So let's see what happens. So he comes around through turn 1, turn 2, and he collides with Max Verstappen, who's leaving the pit lane. So very unfortunate for Lewis Hamilton. This is on board with Max Verstappen now, and he kind of stops. I think they're trying to let Lewis through, but doesn't realise he's parked it on the racing line. So I would imagine there's a penalty coming Max's way, and it's actually very surprising that Max didn't cop any more substantial damage from that very heavy impact indeed. So as now we jump towards the end of one of our flying laps, and it's going to put us P7 as it stands behind Hulkenberg and Yuki Tsunoda. But I think we need to try and improve that. A small lockup going into turn 17 and a bit of oversteer coming out of the corner as well, as we now go up through the gears going onto this very short main straight actually, and that puts us P13. Definitely not good enough at the moment, so we've come in and we've now grabbed another set of tyres, and we've got enough time to now do another lap. And at the moment, we're currently P14, so we need a good, as Mark's saying, we need a good lap, and that puts us P5. So, luckily, we did get that lap in. As you can see there, Max Verstappen does actually have a 5-place grid penalty, so he did receive a penalty for that contact with Lewis Hamilton. So, the top 3 was Carlos Sainz, Lando Norris, and Oscar Piastri. So, McLaren's looking absolutely rapid here, as we once again say that we do claim P5 out of that session. Carlos Sainz has set the pace very early on in this final qualifying session. We're going to set one flying lap on these worn tyres, and then pretty much save the only fresh set we've got for a last-ditch qualifying effort. And as you can see there, it's working out well. Green first sector, purple second sector. So I wonder if we can put ourselves anywhere towards the front on our one proper flying lap in this session. That's going to put us P5, so I'm pretty happy with that. We'll just have to see how far that drops us down. Unfortunately, that drops us down to P9 in the end, as the other drivers put in final flying laps, and that puts Oscar Piastri on the front row of the grid on pole position alongside Sergio Perez.
We're here in the coastal shores of Florida for the Miami Grand Prix, which has become the 11th Formula One track held in the United States. The grandstands are packed for what we hope is going to be another fantastic race, with great opportunities for wheel-to-wheel battles featuring 19 corners, 3.36 miles long, and expected average speeds of 138 miles an hour. The Miami International Autodrome will be sure to create lots of chances to overtake. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Oscar Piastri lines up on pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Norris, Hulkenberg, Liam Lawson, Leclerc, the Rainmaster, Verstappen, Stroll, Gasly, Russell, Ocon, Bottas, Tsunoda, Hamilton, Albon, Iwasa, Joe, De Vries, Magnussen, and Logan Sargent. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. With the Grand Prix nearly upon us, Anthony Davidson is by my side once again to offer his perspective.
With the Grand Prix nearly upon us, Anthony Davidson is by my side once again to offer his perspective.
Let's discuss Haas. We have some changes to the regulations, of course, which mainly revolve around the chassis this year, and unfortunately the early signs are that they've not adapted particularly well.
There are a few downcast looks within the team this weekend. I think they've been hit fairly hard by the new regs. But this is only the first step down a long road of development, and even if they don't maximise their points today, there are plenty more up for grabs this season.
And welcome to the strategy screen. So we're going to stick with the default strategy, starting on the mediums and going to the hards. But what I will do is I'm taking out a chunk of fuel. I don't see the need to have 5 laps of extra fuel in the car. I don't think that the fuel usage should be too high. Well, definitely not high enough to go through 5 laps of extra fuel. So we've taken it down to 2 laps of extra fuel, just in case if Mark was actually onto something with the extra fuel usage. So we've got 2 laps of extra fuel, should be plenty of fuel as we now start our warm-up lap for these medium tyres, get them into a good range as we now start pulling into our grid box, and it's absolutely perfect. So let's get this going as the lights are now building up. 4 red lights, 5 red lights, and it's away we go. We get seems like a pretty good start. Lando Norris has had an absolutely horrific start, and we're going to prop ourselves up into possibly P5 and immediately Mark is actually telling us that we've got an issue with the car, and we've actually been shunted out wide. I think it was momentarily actually 3 wide, and we've actually picked up a little bit of side pod damage or floor damage. I couldn't quite tell. In all of that panic, I completely missed what was actually happening as Liam Lawson is, I forgot to mention this during the qualifying report. He's found himself inside the top 10 for qualifying, as now we actually run very wide going through the 6, 7, 8 complex, and Lando Norris gets through on us, so hopefully we can kind of stick with this McLaren. This McLaren definitely seems like to be the car in for this season, as we're 3 or 4 races into the season now, as it looks like Stroll's going to be trying to go around our outsides. Max Verstappen is also trying to make a move on Liam Lawson. He doesn't want to be held up behind the Haas for too much longer, considering how good of a qualifying Liam had, and Max also, remember, had that grid drop after the contact with Lewis Hamilton during qualifying. As we now head to lap 2, this is Charles Leclerc. He's trying to make his way through the field as well, so he's trying to go around the outside of Nico Hülkenberg into the braking zone. This is going to be going to turn 17. Generally, the AI that are on the racing line get the better exits, so it looks like it's pretty neck and neck though. They're going to be going around the last corner side by side, going onto this main straight. Remember, no DRS, so we'll see a true understanding of straight line speed, and that looks like the Aston Martin's got wicked straight line speed. He's managed to pull back ahead of Charles Leclerc and managed to keep the position, but now fast forward another lap. Leclerc's now got the aid of DRS, and he's going to be pulling alongside Nico Hülkenberg, and he's actually going to get the move done as they go into the braking zone. As now we put that battle down into the bottom corner, as we're actually under attack from Stroll now, but we run very deep going into turn 17, so in the end that makes it pretty easy for Stroll to go through. As now we do an order check here, so it's Piastri leading the way from Sergio Perez and Carlos Sainz, who rounds out the podium positions as it stands. Charles Leclerc, the second Ferrari in P4, Hülkenberg, and Liam Lawson's done very well to stay in P6, so definitely putting that Haas where it shouldn't be, and a very good drive from the rookie driver so far. Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, Stroll, then ourselves rounding out the points. Then it's Russell, Ocon, Bottas, Gasly, Hamilton, Tsunoda, Iwasa, Zhou, our teammate Alex Albon down in P19. So he's definitely gone a little bit backwards. So he's actually trying to make a move now on the Sauber of Zhou Guanyu. So will he be able to make the move stick, or is he just going to have to stay put for now? He stays put for now, so very good defensive driving from Zhou, as he actually does run a little bit wide, so I very momentarily thought that Albon should be able to get back through it. As now we take a look further down the field, and it's Magnussen, De Vries, and Logan Sargent who rounds out the field, as we now jump forward back into the field. And this is Carlos Sainz now trying to claim P2 off Sergio Perez in the Tag Heuer Red Bull, and it looks like he might be able to get it done. But as we saw, the Aston Martin's actually got better straight line than the Ferrari, and it looks like the Ferrari, with the aid of DRS, has better straight line than the Red Bull. So definitely looks like the straight line speed's very up in the air about which car's going to be fastest. We're going to have to really keep an eye out which car that is, to see where we could possibly make some battles in the end. But you saw there, looks like Perez has actually got back by Carlos Sainz. As now this is happening while that battle was happening. This is Max Verstappen. He's finally getting by Liam Lawson, and it looks like I've completely missed the fact. Lando Norris has also got by Liam Lawson and Max Verstappen, so Norris is also not wasting any time to try and get his way back through the field. So, and once again, very good defensive driving from Liam Lawson, who's managed to maintain position ahead of Max Verstappen. As now Max Verstappen's trying once again to get the move done on Liam Lawson, but now going through this stadium section, they're going side by side, and it looks like it's Liam Lawson who backs out of it as they go into this really tight and very clumsy chicane at the end of the lap, turns 14, 15, 16 onto the back straight, and Max Verstappen from now should be able to maintain position. As now we'll jump ahead, and this is Carlos Sainz regaining the position on Sergio Perez, and he cuts across very aggressively under the braking zone onto Sergio Perez. So I wonder if there was maybe a little bit of contact that was possibly made there. And now fast forwarding once again, this is Carlos Sainz defending from Perez, and now this is allowing Charles Leclerc to go around the outside, which will give him the inside on Sergio Perez. So I wonder if that was a bit of strategy play and a bit of teamwork between the two Ferrari drivers. But as a thank you from Charles Leclerc, he's now going to overtake Carlos Sainz. So these Ferraris are going at it for these podium positions, and they're really just wasting a lot of time to Oscar Piastri. So I wonder if they can now settle down a little bit and work together, as now George Russell is making headway as well, and he's now got past us. But if we take a look at our steering wheel, we've got a bit of an issue. Remember how I said 2 laps of fuel should be plenty of fuel. We've now got less than a lap of fuel, and it's only lap 8 at that point in time, as now we jump to lap 11, and the 2 Ferraris are still battling, and that is now given Oscar Piastri a 4-second lead already in this race, as now Carlos Sainz is maintaining his position through this very clumsy section of track, as I said before, but that may have just ruined his run coming out of turn 16. So now Charles Leclerc is going to have DRS. Sergio Perez is also going to have DRS, and he's not too far away from here. So could Carlos Sainz possibly lose 2 positions here as we momentarily have a quick look at Oscar Piastri. But it is Charles Leclerc who's going to make the position back on Carlos Sainz, as now we're going to actually just do an order check here as well. So it was Piastri and then the 2 Ferraris on the podium. Sergio Perez, Norris, Hülkenberg, Verstappen, Liam Lawson doing fantastic, still be in the top 10. Then it's Stroll, Russell, then ourselves, unfortunately, just outside of the points. And then the 2 Alpines of Ocon and Gasly. And then Lewis Hamilton, Yuki Tsunoda, Bottas, Iwasa, Magnussen. Our teammate Albon is still stuck in P19. He's been on the DRS train at the moment. And then it's Logan Sargent, who's made up a couple of positions. He was last time we did an order check. Then it's De Vries and Zhou rounding out the field. As now our pit window has opened, and we're going to be coming in within the next few laps, I would imagine. And just quickly there, you can see we're still struggling. We're losing so much fuel at the moment. I just don't understand where all this fuel is going. I'm even fuel saving at the moment as well. I am upshifting early, and during the downshifts, I'm also not downshifting too early, so then we go into the higher revs. As now that is Charles Leclerc getting back by Carlos Sainz to put himself P2, and these 2 battling, holding up the field, has now brought Sainz and Perez and Norris into this battle, and also Oscar Piastri is now extended his lead to 5.1, nearly 5.2 seconds, as now it looks like Carlos Sainz wants to get back by Charles Leclerc, and once again these guys battling is just going to be holding them up and losing time to Oscar Piastri, who's leading the race. As now we take a look, and it's going to be Charles Leclerc a few laps later who's going to be the first one to blink in this top 3 to come into the pits, and we are going to be following in as well. We're going to be jumping into the pits, and it looks like up ahead, the pit lane's actually going to be quite busy with Stroll, is at Lawson, and one of the Red Bulls ahead, possibly Verstappen ahead as well. So a very busy pit lane as it stands, and so I wonder if we can possibly maybe try and jump Stroll. Stroll was actually quite a fair bit up the road though, so I'm not sure if we're actually going to be able to jump him in this pit cycle unless he gets held up. It was a very good stop indeed, and we actually do jump Stroll, so he was definitely held up, or he's had a very slow stop, because I was not expecting to gain that much time on him. So a very good pit stop from the boys and girls in pit lane for us to help us make up that position in pit lane. And we've actually come out just behind Max Verstappen, so I reckon we've jumped to the house as well. But have a look on our steering wheel. We're now into the red on our fuel. So we've got big issues with 15 laps to go. And this is now George Russell trying to make an overtake on the Mercedes, Mercedes-powered Aston Martin of Nico Hülkenberg, as there's actually a yellow flag in front of them, so I wonder what's happening, and that is Oscar Piastri from the lead of the race has DNF'd, and there's so much smoke coming out of the back of it, so I would imagine he's had an engine failure as we now drive past the stricken McLaren of Oscar Piastri, and that is very unfortunate for our fellow Australian, as now in the bottom corner, that looks like it is George Russell finishing the move on Nico Hülkenberg, and for us, we're losing a position now to Valtteri Bottas in that Sauber. So, we're now back outside of the points. But with the aid of DRS, we should be making a position back. We go around the outside, going into turn 11, this is, which will give us the inside for turn 12. And now Lando Norris is making a move for the lead of the race on Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc's going to hang out around the outside. Will he get the better exit on that racing line with these fresh hard tyres, or is it going to be Lando Norris who's going to be able to make the move stick? But they're going side by side now as they cross the line to start the next lap. But it is Charles Leclerc who's got the inside line at the moment for turn 1. So this should give him the edge, and it will give him the edge as he's able to maintain the lead for now. But going on to the next DRS straight, this is now Lando Norris trying around the outside in the braking zone of turn 11, which will give him the inside for turn 12. So this seems to be a very popular overtaking spot for the AI drivers, and it will give Lando Norris the lead of the race as it stands. but not for long, as this is now Charles Leclerc trying to get back past Lando Norris to retake the lead of the race, and these two battling. Look how much it's brought in Sergio Perez and Carlos Sainz, so we could very well, with 10 laps to go, have a four-way battle for the lead of the race, as now Ocon is trying to make this move stick on Lewis Hamilton, and he's going around the outside at turn 17 to try and get this move done, and he will get it done going onto the main straight, as now we cut back to our POV, and we're under attack from Pierre Gasly, which will now drop us outside of the points. So this is now just a matter of survival, because we are losing fuel rapidly. As you can see now, it's only taken us 5 laps, and we're nearly down a full lap of fuel as we send it up the inside Pierre Gasly with the assistance of DRS, just trying to maintain this P10 and hoping that we can get a safety car where we can try and save some fuel and then go to the end. And now, heading on to lap 21, we get a little bit of a tank slapper coming out the corner, but Pierre Gasly is actually pulling into the pit lane, so that saves that attack from us. We now take another look back to the front of the queue, and this is Lando Norris. He's under attack from Charles Leclerc once again. Charles Leclerc's going to be looking to go around the outside at turn 17. Will he be able to make it stick? They're going to stay side by side on the exit of turn 17. It looks like Charles Leclerc should be able to keep the position. He's put himself in front of the queue at the moment, but I reckon now Lando Norris is going to be under attack from Sergio Perez, but he is able to defend quite nicely in the end, actually. So, as we now go back towards the next DRS straight, and it looks like Charles Leclerc's checked out just that little bit, and it is now going to be Sergio Perez trying to make a move on Lando Norris. So has Lando actually possibly overcooked his tyres as it stands now? He has dropped from P1 now to P3 within the matter of a lap and a bit. And it makes me wonder if Carlos Sainz is thinking that he could possibly make a move on Lando Norris, as well as now we find ourselves being overtaken by Stroll. And going into turn 4, we actually make a little bit of contact, and a little bit more contact once again as Pierre Gasly sets the fastest lap of the race, and Stroll, unfortunately, has got the move on us done. And I don't think we're going to be able to get back by him with the pace that Aston Martin has been showing. Because now Sergio Perez is making a move for the lead of the race, and he should get this one done, because I don't think I've seen a failed overtake yet going through this stadium section. And he's going to very easily pull ahead well and truly before the clumsy chicane. So very good stuff from Sergio Perez to take the lead of the race, and he now finds himself under attack from Charles Leclerc now. So very briefly, Charles Leclerc is going to be taking the lead of the race, but Perez is going to be getting the better exit. So I wonder if now this is going to make Charles Leclerc a little bit vulnerable to Lando Norris behind. And Lando Norris actually gets a massive tank slapper on the straightaway, and he's actually going to be making a move around the outside of Charles Leclerc, and Charles Leclerc will have to drop down into P3. And now, within a lap and a bit later, Lando Norris is making a move for the lead of the race. So I reckon he was just giving the tyres a bit of a rest in the end, because he's gone from P3 to P1 very quickly. But the move for P1's not quite done yet. He's going to have to make the move stick into turn 1, but he's going to get it done well and truly before then. And he's got DRS to help him now. And couldn't Charles Leclerc now see the way that Lando Norris got the move done on him? But in the end, Sergio Perez also dives it up the inside of Lando Norris. So very briefly, a very good battle for the lead. But now Max Verstappen is now making the move on Lewis Hamilton. Can these two old title rivals, they were even title rivals last season, but can they make this move stick cleanly? And it looks like Max Verstappen's going to be able to keep the move on Lewis Hamilton, but has to get finished into turn 1 once again. So Lewis Hamilton's made good progress up the field after not being able to compete in a lot of qualifying, and there's actually a yellow flag behind us. So I wonder if this could be the safety car that we have been pleading for to try and save some fuel. We're now 1.3 laps under our fuel target, so we definitely need a safety car right now, but I don't think we're going to get one, as Yuki Tsunoda has DNF from the session. So unfortunate for the Japanese driver, and it's an engine failure, so not a good look for the Red Bull power unit. Remember, we do use the Red Bull power unit, but unfortunately for us, we've gone into low fuel mode. That's it, we're done. I'm going to have to pull her into the pits to save ourselves from DNFing on the racetrack. So yeah, very sad for us. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it to the end on fuel.
McLaren have pulled it off. They've won in spectacular fashion here today. Well, Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today, but what set them apart from the rest?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be McLaren picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for that fantastic performance.
And that's another race done in this series. Lando Norris claimed his third career win in Formula One in the end. It was a four-way battle for the win. For this race, which was very cool to see from the AI. Unfortunately, it was a DNF for ourselves with a bad fuel strategy. Probably should have listened to Mark at the start of the race when I pulled all of that fuel out of the car. Unfortunately for the other McLaren of Oscar Piastri, he was leading the race when he had an engine failure. So what could have been for McLaren, as we now take a look at the race standings. So the rest of the top 10 was Carlos Sainz, Russell, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Verstappen, Hamilton, and then Stroll claiming the last points position. Alex Albon made up a couple of positions in the end to finish P14, and ourselves ended up classified as one lap down, even though we did DNF into P20, and then the other two DNFs was Yuki Tsunoda and Oscar Piastri. Now taking a look at the drivers' standings, Lando Norris has got a 10-point lead over Charles Leclerc, but the battle is very close further down into the top 10, as now Ferrari leads the way by only 1 point, and ourselves, we still find Brabham into P7, as now back at the HQ for the personnel, we're doing an analysis suite and a pit equipment upgrade to try and help ourselves get ourselves further up the field, as into the durability. We're improving, fixing the improved materials for the energy store, and in the chassis department, we're doing a cockpit weight reduction upgrade, and in the aerodynamics, you saw there, we did a front wing end plate upgrade. So hopefully this will improve our car overall going into the season. We're making very good gains so far into the midfield performance-wise, as we now fast forward ourselves towards the Imola Grand Prix. So if you did enjoy this episode, please make sure to like and subscribe. It definitely means a lot. And I'll see you in the next episode when we return to Italy. See ya.